Hey, folks, Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about this week, but let's get through the runners. First of all, brand new graphics, thanks to Dan Hollifield. I'm a proud member of the Risingtide Broadcast Network. So please, this will be solidified in my usual professional method a little later, but look up these wonderful channel shows. The Historical Fencing Guild is also brought to you by The Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe, the easiest ways to learn how to sword fight, and hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the RPG. Luke Stone and I worked real hard to make this. I hope you enjoy it. Now, if I seem a little eager, it's because I've got a lot on my mind. And so before we get any farther, I need to stop and do something. All right. So, yeah, I want to make sure, because I know people under different names. And I want to shout out my awesome, incredible Patreon members by basically order of application. That's Steve Augosto, Cindy Kep of www.ckoepp.com. And there is a typo in that. I will fix it. I just now realized that. Brian K. Morris of Risingtide.pub. Stef Mari. We're going to say Bladed Thesis because it's Lee Kǎijié and I'm Kǎijié. It just broke. Kǎijié. Ronald Riehn, who I don't talk about nearly enough, but I really appreciate, the incredible Steve Clausen, who's in the chat right now, and Frog G, the original G, master of the mechanized mayhem. You know what I'm talking about if you hear me talk on Rising Tide. Whoop, sorry, Red Valkyries. Dice Dames and Dudes. Captain Dyslexia strikes again, but folks, that's okay because you all enjoy it. And of course, the insurmountable Slyvar Ogre. These guys, along with Steve Clausen as a corporate entity, news coming when available. Don't worry, Steve, I won't spill the beans till the beans are cooked, prepared, have some bacon in it, and just a little brown sugar to sweeten the whole mess. And John Miner of Swakhammer Metals. John, set up your webpage. Alrighty. Now that that is all mostly out of the mix, and I'll have to take a note, guys, this has been one of those weeks. I had planned to do a set of reviews, and large numbers of the items that I planned to review have... Steve, are you telling me you've got the unspeakable bug? Okay, if you need anything, you have direct messenger for a reason. Don't you hesitate to reach out. And you better survive. Don't even hint with that. My partner Luke Stone right now is in he's in ICU on a ventilator. And I'm praying for him. Which is part of why it's been a rough week. But I can either dwell on that or we can move forward. It's all okay. Whatever you need. I don't know how I'd get to Houston, but I'd find a way. Okay, now, there's nothing I can do live to address that, other than try and buoy your spirits. Keep us advised. Do not hesitate to talk about what's going on. This is a very supportive chat, obviously. And I take that deadly serious. But we're gonna talk, guys, and I will either fall into a deeper valley of worry and concern, or I'm gonna keep trucking. And I think, alrighty, Steve. I bought some stuff and it didn't come in, but some other stuff came in. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some, for me, big shocking news in that prominent YouTuber Shad Brooks of Shadversity, who I respect even if I disagree with, came out sane on a subject, and I didn't feel the urge to disagree vehemently. Guys, this is pretty miraculous. So we'll be getting into that. But first, first, folks, we got to talk about this. Now, hold on. I ordered a upgraded protective mask shield guy. One of these guys. Right? Seals around the face. Planning to work conventions till our numbers spiked and they got scary. And being me, I just backed out because I don't like battles I can't fight clearly. I ordered this. It came unassembled, and it is currently missing a piece. Now, this is two basic products here. Why am I talking about this? Well, no. Oh, Johnny, no. This is not, that would be a sign. If Shad said matriculations like a normal person, that would be a sign he's been kidnapped by, I don't know, communists or something, and is locked in an unspeakable country where they're doing horrible things to him. And good to see you, Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is another person who's hopped the fence for me crossing streams between gaming and stuff. But I want to talk about this because this came unassembled with a 2-part filter holder. You'll note I'm not showing you the other part. That's because it went pointing across my study, which right now has that late 90s Beirut kind of feel. I know, Nick, work on your study so you can do a big walkthrough review video. Yes, I know. Everybody wants to see the stuff that that people want to see the wall of geekdom. I will do that. I promise. I just have to get through this. But, so this is supposed to seal and then run you through a vent so that you can put a little filter in there and go. Now, being me, I'm like, wait a second, that's a plexiglass face protector. And it will hold on for about the time. Yep, and it's already popping off. It will hold on for about the time it takes me to talk about it. There's no adhesives, so it semi-seals, and it won't fog up if you wear glasses. It will instantly fog your glasses. Now, this is a light grade plastic. It's kind of flexy. I wouldn't recommend trying to use this as face protection for combative purposes, because I was asked, would one of these work as a fencing mask? And one sec. Whoop. Now, let me just do that. You should hear me. I sound a bit like I'm in a can. Obviously, this doesn't provide enough protection to the cheekies to protect anything practically. It does have that Iron Man look, which I sort of dig. So you ask, okay, Nick, you bought this thing and it was like $15. Don't, spend a lot of money. Why, then, are you keeping it? Because, friends, I have a dastardly plan, and I have 2 heroes of mine, inspirations, icons of greatness, that coming winter, this will be part of. Now, I have been handed an opportunity that will take a lot of my time and a considerable amount of my resources to reset some of my possessions and adjust my finances, which means I'm going to get busy. And I'm blind because I set my glasses down. And a fun fact, to see my glasses, I require my glasses. The yellow helps, though. However, I dumb-handed it, so that's a little payback for the die that the Fae who reside in my home have off-scounded with. Why would I want that? Okay, first off, don't buy it. It's not good for fighting. I would not use it for any projectile, paintball, airsoft. And honestly, I think I trust a cloth mask more than I trust that. I'm not sure how I feel about this. But to those of you who know, I do have a second YouTube channel that is very currently neglected, as is my tendency during the summer months when I'm focused on the sword fighting. And that is the Nicholas Tockert channel. It doesn't have a pretty name like the Historical Fencing Guild, where I put art and projects. I want to do a BSR zero budget movie because two of my heroes are Ray Harryhausen and Ed Wood. Not for his cross-dressing, that's his choice, I don't judge, and all that, but for his dedication to making something incredibly sincere that may not. So expect sometime this winter, I might be piloting a BSR, sort of. So yours truly may be behind in the cockpit of a big stompy robot making the impossible possible with no budget. Look forward to that. Now, last week I talked about this guy. Woo, 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 woo. The plastic bar I ordered that is way too... Yeah, it's going to be awesome, City. Wiggly. Wibbly, 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 woo. Okay, so it's exceptionally wibbly. I'm still going to make a trainer out of it because I bought it, and that's who I am. If it doesn't work, I'll make a prop for something else. But I found a different type of plastic in 7/8 inch dowel, 4 feet long. That's ultra molecular density something or other. Basically, it's thicker and tougher than HDPE. Ooh, says I. So that is on order, and hopefully, knock on wood, it or one of the other things I ordered is going to be coming through basically around the time I could do a review. And something like that should be basically a 4-foot wooden dowel. Anyone who knows me knows my favorite trainers are for personal, just messing around. Solo trainers PVC is great. It's light. It's cheap. You can shape it. You can modify it. I had a neat little chain. A friend asked, can they have it? And I am a sucker, so they got it. I may make another one if I remember how I did it. But, so I have this, and I actually drill with this in my living room. One of the garage balls and the target that I showed you guys how to make many videos ago. But I've always used these. Actually, the first fencing instruction I received in historical fencing by someone, not a book, and it wasn't, sport fencing, was actually with trainers made out of 1/2-inch PVC. Now, the neat thing about 1/2-inch PVC, oh God, that popped off so nice, thank you, is the 1/2-inch isn't measuring the outside, it's measuring the inside. The nominal diameter, which means roughly, is 7/8 on the outside. This, for years, has been my most comfortable grip. I like it. And as the people came to practice, I am working on trying to get those videos downscaled. Anyone who knows me knows tech hates me. That's why I really love live broadcasts. Because, hey, thesis! But the problem with PVC is it's brittle in that lots of repeated beatings, when it goes, it breaks sharp, it breaks ugly. So I'm hoping with that I will at least be able to put cane feet on the end and have a short staff that is designed and capable. Oh yes, let's get down with that. To work as a bow trainer, and if it really works well at around $18, I'll cut it down and I'll just make a different kind of sword trainer with it. Because, if I could get 1 or 2 little short swords out of it, that will be a thing. And so I'm really excited about that. That is one of the next things coming up. Because you guys know me, I've always got irons in the fire. And hi, I don't know if I said hi to a flying feline, but hi, flying feline. And guys, I got 5 watchers, 3 likes. If I'm doing something wrong, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Otherwise, mash that button because I am literally at war with the algorithm, and the algorithm's a big dragon, and I have a chunk of PVC. So I need all the support I can get. But so that's coming. I actually have been asked about thank you guys. You are awesome. You hit that just right on. You people are my heroes. I've been asked to do a live steel review by somebody who is that's what we're about, slaying the dragon. So what they want to see, I'm about taming dragons is awesome too. What you need is a bard to seduce the dragon. Hello, ladies. I'd like to say hello to the dragon. No, Jimmy, you're not a bard. But I want to be. Shut up, Jimmy. Okay, sorry. That was Jimmy. He's an adventurer, and he's not supposed to be on the show. He's supposed to come out on the next show, on the other show. You don't belong here, Jimmy. No, shoot. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. A little bit more of added insanity for your day. Now, I've been asked to do it, so I will be reviewing a type of a light machete, a bolo knife machete that Shad put out. SHD. Ironically called the Priscilla brush knife. To review it, I had to order it. So that beautiful little beastie is coming in. And I don't mind it because let's just say this little knife is about in my bailiwick. And my brain derped, happy birthday to Foxy. Happy birthday, Foxy. I'm not singing the song they want me to because I don't want to get copyright struck. So happy birthday, Foxy. Woot, woot, woot. Okay. Now, as you can see, I am in what I call a bounce back mood. Been hit a few times. There you go. Knock down 7, get up 8. It's a way of life, folks. Now, and guys, never doubt. You get questions, commentary, interrupt me. I am here to be educational and entertainment. Edutainment is the way to say it. Derp, derp. But, and I'm glad to be because I'm not afraid to just express that. That machete, which I find really rather pretty, and if it works well, I will be very happy. Because I'm always in the. I don't know, but somebody actually bought the rights to the happy birthday song we're all taught as kids, and they maliciously sue. I mean, that's why all the restaurants have to do the stuff, which is a wonderful guys. Bravo. Every day you're here, Foxy, the world is a better place. Yep. I find that really, really greedy, revolting, but we're going to roll past that for a minute. Sorry, that was we've said happy birthday too many times, and now I'm thinking about Marilyn Monroe. And that was, one of my two brain cells had to stop and wander off for a second. We're back. But, wow, yeah. And yeah, Shad Shadversity. He put up a video, and I watched it halfway through, and I felt my soul drop out, and I walked away from it. Because longtime viewers know, first off, I love Shad. This is not me hopping on anybody's bandwagon. That's not what I'm about. But he has put out stuff in the past that I've disagreed with, to the point I've done a couple response videos, chiefly on the fixation on long weapons. Great swords are the solution to every problem. And impassioned discussion on what a rogue should carry. Now, that's come and gone many times, and I've talked to. Yeah, exactly. Swords are compensating, Johnny. But Ooh, ding fries are done. Thank you, whoever commented, because amongst other things, it means I have to mute my phone. Thank you, Steve. If you're John's size. Now John Miner isn't here, but I don't think he's watching, but if he does, set yourself a timer for how long it takes him to mention how long his wingspan is. It will be interesting. Love it. That being said, and I love you, John. If you catch us in the reruns or you catch this later, you know I'm funning you. You set drinks on my head. I make fun of you for being tall. This is called friendship. But so I see Shad in all Shad's glory in this video. Decent armor. I like his baldric. It's not bad. It's Brigadine. I like Brigadine. He has his greatsword slung over his arm, with his back draw, and his longbow on a toggle that hangs back there. Interesting. And he talks about what a ranger should be using, and he starts walking to the woods explaining how, these weapons. And I feel my soul tank, so I just stop. I turn it off, and I left. I literally left the house because this hurts my soul. And then I go through my day, very difficult day, lots of things, and I'm setting up for the I have a mellow period where I check for sales, look what's coming down the pipe, and go. Then I'm like, I need to finish this video if I'm going to talk about it. And do you know what happened, folks? Our boy Shad, anybody who's seen the title of this, realized you can't swing a longsword when you're in the forest. Boo! Pop! Oh, yeah! Right hand of yay! Okay, I don't have anything to celebrate with because Lydia's still on vacation. Wow. I'm still getting sound through my phone, which shouldn't be a thing. Boop. Boom. There we are. Right hand of yay. So. Our boy Shad tries to waddle through brush in his tall gear. And it doesn't work, and he admits it doesn't work. Like, I may print that off. I may print that picture because I've wanted for years to see him take that loadout through scrub brush. Well, I'm like, please. And what does he do? What does this? He admits he's wrong, folks. He explains why the longsword wouldn't work in there. He doesn't even get into fighting. At no point does he talk about fighting in scrub brush. But he admits it doesn't work and talks about machetes. Machetes! And then he brings up falchions, which are period machetes. Guys, I don't think I... The sweetness to me. The absolute earth-shattering, soul-moving, dear Lord. It would be like if the ghost of Walter Cronkite walked forth and slapped every news network all the way through, like bam, 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 and proceeded to give the news in a sane way. Oh, yeah, see, I don't get to... He's quite animated when gleefully proven right. People don't listen. And I spend a lot of time going, please don't do this, because if you... I give advice not out of superiority. Yeah, but now imagine back, if those of us who are, I've earned my gray. Remember when the news was boring? Because somebody'd say, like, this happened. And then it's done. And then you get to decide, like, wow, that means something to me. Or no, I don't care. But it's not like flashing graphics and, no, you must be upset about this because I'm telling you how to feel. No. Just, this happened. There was news. Stuff happened. And now the weather. That's all I want back. Anyway, Shad then goes out and explains why a machete works. And now it is hilarious because the machete he's holding is, I believe, a 24-inch Latin machete D-guard by Cold Steel. And I do love me my Cold Steel machetes. They are some of my favorite machetes. They're the ones who made the tactical katana machete, which is neither tactical nor a katana, but danged if I don't love it. He's like, that's because Lynn Thompson, who ran Cold Steel at the time, loved swords. And he made his machetes balanced like they should be. It's delightful. It's beautiful. And he shows a macheting. Does he fumble around axes? Yes. But if you see the way Shad swings an axe like this, he literally was chopping like this. Nobody's perfect. Somebody needs to send Shad a copy of this. Maybe I'll send him a link. I don't know. But there's still time. I'm not gripe about that because he made sense. And then he's like, well, I'm, dual wielding is kind of, but a ranger could. And he's like, it makes sense. Like, he then proceeded to kind of be like, it's shocking how we logically got to where they got. But who knows? But it's okay. It's okay, because for one moment, Shad Brooks realized that one-handed weapons have a decent place in an adventurer's arsenal. He's still encumbered and stuff, but for one crystalline moment, there was sanity out of our boy Shad Brooks. And I drink it in. I drink that in like the nectar of all that is good and holy, because we live in an era of idiocy and applied intellect. Out of the mouths of babes and the dim comes a radiant light. Okay, so if it was any more immaculate, Chuck Norris would have descended at the moment. I feel good. In that moment, everything that went wrong today, and this was the kind of bad day that was bad. A lot of bad news. But I am, so I am. All right. Now, this Friends, Romans, Countrymen was and is delightful. Now, he mentioned falchions. I have one out in the garage. I'm not getting it. Probably should have brought up Dussicks. I love me a Dussick. Ogre, hi, Ogre. I'm so glad to see you, buddy. I actually talked you up at the beginning of it. And I don't bash the longsword. I have no problem with the longsword. As a military weapon in an open field, it makes sense. They're cool. But it's sort of like the people who want to use an M60 to clear rooms in a house. If you use it, you're going to break everything around you. Yes, you saw, you understand. Guys, literally, you can go back years and see me posting videos on the... Please, you can't swing a longsword in the forest. You just can't do it. It's too tangled. I want to see Shad, now if it's possible, I want to see Shad duck walking and fighting his way through in there. Get some buffers, buddy. It is my secret hope that every once in a while he watches this video these videos, doesn't say anything, but realizes, I would love to find out I've been secretly content. I know I'm not, but I would love to. That being said, I would love to see him discuss fighting in narrow quarters. I would love to see that. Also, Shad, the tomahawk. Trust me, buddy. The tomahawk. No. Yeah, from the outside, from a quarter mile away. I mean, how clearing a house with a 60 just requires bada 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 bada. Solve the problem. But I'm in a good mood because of that. So I do have. I actually. Well, we're going to talk. I'm really looking forward to seeing that Priscilla machete. It's a little outside my normal bailiwick. I may even do like a cut video. I don't cut usually. I'm not alive. No, we're not making that joke. No. But I might do one just to see how effective it is. It's only a 16-inch blade. So it's only a blade about that long. I don't know why I would be attracted to a 16-inch blade. But so I'm excited. I'm kind of eager to see how that works out. And really, 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 it's been quite a long time since I've thrown money at anything edged for myself. And I had actually been eyeballing it. So if I can help a viewer make a decision and maybe get to play with a really nice little knife, it's Christmas all around. Now, Steve, a question. If the A10 Warthog is the deity dragon of infantry support, is the M60 gunner its priest? Moving on. Guys, I'm really scattered today because I did not expect that. I was watching. We have to talk some more things. We have to talk some more things, and I'm going to get my. Oh, that makes sense. I love the hello chats. Oh, let me make sure it did it again. Oh, we got some waves. I'm double checking. Yes, stupid people keep Steve employed. That got eaten. IT is heck, Steve. Alrighty, now getting back here. Why? No, I don't want that. I'm in a good mood, so tech is trying not to be. Using the link below, guys, if you hop onto Wooden Swords, there is really, that's interesting. Ogre, I didn't know you served. One thing I do is I respect veterans. I also respect contractors too. So because both of them see heck for different reasons. But I am the fat guy against stolen valor. That is one of my passions. So hey, you know what? A lot of good people get sent home because of illnesses or injuries. I tell people right after 9/11, I was one of those people who went to sign on the dotted line, and a recruiter basically cried when he realized I've got one leg shorter than the other. But an army colonel did swore up a storm later, but that's another story for another time. We got to talk because, as you know, I have a couple problems equipment-wise. And I've been trying to find the right weapons for my personal fighting stuff. Gotcha! Gotcha, Ogre. Thank you for serving or trying to serve. Like I said, I respect that effort tremendously. But let's talk. I'm at our good buddies, Purple Heart Armory, and I have a problem. First off, I am of Germanic descent, and every so often, weapons of my history revolve. I kind of do like hunting swords. That makes sense. Bradleys are neat little machines, though. I really dig them. They got an interesting history. Wait, Nick, you're talking about weapons in history not sword related? Yeah, folks. Ask me about the American swordsman in World War II sometime. World War One. Gotcha. My buddy Ben Starkey, who is currently deceased. Wow, is currently deceased. That tells you how hopeful I am on certain things. But I firmly believe he checks in on things from time to time. Made it to 1 week before graduating sniper school and had an asthma attack and was drummed out. But I hope so. You know what? I would love to see him get better. But anyway, we're getting back. You guys know I have a couple holy grails of weapons I am chasing. And part of it, well, basically is very close to what this would represent. This is about a 24-inch blade and then about a 10-inch handle. This is about 34 inches overall. This is a very good length for me in that I can draw it comfortably. I can use it indoors. And it's like I have to go lighter on my weapons simply because my chassis won't hold it. Between the, in car terms, my electrical system is shot and my suspension is going out. So I'm looking for lighter weapons that will allow me to fight multiple styles and be even more fluid and adjustable than I am. So, with slightly smaller grip lines, I'm looking at this boy. The Penty Messer V4 by our good friends at Purple Heart, but it's $100. But it's tempting. And why would that be tempting? And I'm talking to this for people maybe like Foxy, because believe it or not, when I start giving you these measurements, this could be a longsword, at least a two-hander, that would function, ironically, for us smaller swords. The weight of it is 1.6 pounds or 72 grams. And the point of balance is 3.5 inches from the guard. Overall length is 36 inches in total. The blade is 26 inches long, 26.75, so 27-ish inches long, and the grip is 8 1/4. That is a sweet set of measurements for those of us who are smaller. If you want to look at some two-handed techniques, possibly even Meyer, although without a wheel grip, some of the wheeling cuts are a little dicey. This is really something I need to look into. There's also a longer Kriegsmesser, and that has that Vampire Hunter D button, which makes me hot and bothered. Because that, okay, this much shorter, that much longer, but set up in a Penty blade, so in the style of weapons people associate with more like the Black Fencer grade. And yes, something like that could be perfect for a dual wield for someone of larger size. I can see Steve really liking that as a long knife fighting style or an offhand sword. that could be very good. But I'm thinking I might just throw the money at it. Basically, I have to save up. Only some of your exes are short. All of them are crazy, but I like and support most of them. Alrighty, but this would mean it's something comfortable that I could drill indoors with, but instead of having to use a proxy, because this is what I'd consider a proxy trainer. I will never spar with this. This trainer is for very light. It only weighs about 8 ounces, if that. It's perfect for drilling in the living room like any sane swordmaster does. I mean, everybody has targets hung up in their living room and area, right? I mean, that's just normal. Anyhow, but I can't go fight, so it's the grip is going to be different. The other thing. Oh god, guys, you got to see the chat. If you aren't watching, turn on the live chat always on this show, because yeah, crazy hot matrix. I'm familiar with it. That being said, I'm really looking into it, so we will see. That might be my trainer for overwinter. It's going to be very similar to something like my katana trainer, which I just drew completely wrong, but that's okay. Which, note, I say my katana. This is a wakizashi, but yes, it's the crazy height matrix is a whole different thing. Although honestly, the taller women I dated were pretty mellow. Especially when I told them, wear the shoes you want to wear. I'm not intimidated. But then again, I was an odd duck. I did marry someone shorter than me, but I had no choice in the matter. I met her and it was literally love at first sight. I knew I'd spend the rest of my life with her. And it's been pretty awesome ever since, all things considered. So, wow, there's a curve to that. That was not expected. I don't know if you all can see it. See that curve? That is not a good curve. The problem with these kind of trainers is sometimes they get neglected when loaned. And check your plastic trainers for burrs. We had some cuts that showed up after the last practice due to bird weapons. Always check that. That's why I'm very inclined to keep trainers of a type. Tried to pick. Very possible. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure that one got parried in a quillion bind. Quillion bind. Let me see if I can. I'm using terms I probably should. Now, this isn't the best for it, but it's why I'm a little hesitant for steel guards. If you can catch a sword like this, you get what's called a bind. It does not show up as much in plastic because plastic on plastic slides more than metal on metal. But if you catch this flick, this will possibly allow you in many weapons to disarm the weapon. You can remove the weapon from somebody else's hands. I think I might just drill a hole in this and put a pommel on there of washers to try to add some weight. Yes, absolutely. Now I love size and I love parry daggers, and that is part of a short video I will be doing in the near future. Oh, parry daggers down there. Let's see. I can either go off camera or I can use one weapon to acquire another. What are we going to do? That's not it. Yes, I know. Organize yourself. A bind that probably is more likely to happen is one of these guys. Now, let me get a nice flat sword. These guys are made to bind. So you catch that. This is evil, folks. If you manage to catch this bind, which is really easy. Yes, that 30, this right here, this is dastardly. And this is why I am always on a quest. Ogre. Let me see. I think this is the black one, but that's okay. If I can reach it, yes. No, I'm always on quest for a new primary. I am trying to find the right primary training sword to be what I'm looking for me. I make them, I don't know, I alter them around. Offhand, I have the Trinity, and they're all put out by Cold Steel. This parry dagger is the perfect definition for me of what a training weapon of our oh, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry about that. Our training style should be. It's light, it's inexpensive. Not only is it incredibly functional, it is intuitive to how the weapon is fought. I have another one somewhere where I made it into a main gouge with a bit of HDPE. Thank you. But this angle, which you, yeah, 30, good eye, Ogre. This is great because it does a few things. This offset angle makes it very easy to keep and hold a weapon. As I just demonstrated a second ago, if you can get that rising, that's a nice parry, and it accentuates it, makes it harder. That's golden. This is a disarm parry. If you can catch here, you are going to do bad things to a weapon. And that's what's great about it. The other thing I like about these, and why I say, if you are learning to fence, there are a lot of swords you can buy, and that's highly personal. But if you want to learn offhand dagger, I get nothing. I could probably make money by referring you to something else, but I can't because this right here, they're normally black. Mine get spray painted construction orange to show up on camera and be easier for my students to see, because I don't want to disguise my movements. When I was SCA fencing, I fought with blue blades with black or dark armor to further disguise my movements. Yes, that's shady. Yes, that's underhanded. Yes, that is totally viable tactics. But what this does is it trains you. When you grab it, you can grab it a lot of ways and make it go. Awesome. Thank you, Dark Moon. Terribly balanced. Okay. Give me just a second and I will address that. I want to get through this lecture and I will address that. One, even for somebody like Cindy Kep, who I hope can someday get her paws on one of these are also only a couple ounces. I would rather have you train with light gear and have to deal with it being parried by stronger folks than not be able to train. That's what we build off of. And honestly, if they would make me one of these with about a double blade, I'd be done. I'd be like, if they would make one of these, cut that off, give me a slide-on cup. Oh my God, I would do the Fat Guy Happy Dance. I'd do the Fat Guy Happy Dance live on camera. But for this teaches a very simple, very silver-ish parry dagger. George Silver, English sword master, flame master. Oh, that man could write rage. But yep. Now, thumb goes here. Let me put that. Thumb goes here. Grip here. Even with all my problems, with this knurling and the fake cord, it's very fair. Take these quillions. Yes, I know they're referred to as keons in certain languages and certain styles. It physically hurts me to pronounce that word. It literally causes me pain in my neck. So I will continue to call them Quillians. Anyway, this lines up with your forearm. You point this roughly towards the bad guy. If you mount it at your midline, we're going to pull this down just a bit, and we're going to go here because my screen is drifting. High block, low block, off high block. To do a low block, you have to do a bit of a hanging parry to go to the opposite side, which theoretically that should be governed by the sword in that hand if possible, or if you're standing here, this becomes just a sword and it's short. And you'll notice if I'm fighting this, and watch me, if I'm fighting this as an offhand weapon, so oh, there goes everything again. That is a picture of my family, YouTube. Don't give me flack about it. Okay. If I'm here, you will see me use this grip. Parry, 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 parry. And I'm sorting things here. If this goes away, watch. I rotate it. My grip rotates here because now I am fighting this like it's a sword, not like it's a parry dagger. It's just something I've always done. It's interesting. We'll have to see how that works. One of these days, I'm just going to buy a gross of those and just be like, yes, these are the solution to all your problems. That is part of the Trinity. For people who don't know, the other two parts for the newbie Trinity that I think every person who does what we do should own is the Trench Hawk Trainer as an axe. It simply works. There are many axes that are fancier. Purple Heart has some beautiful axes, but low cost, highly available. You could cut the spike off and round it, and it would be safer and much more Tomahawk or Viking axe equivalent. But I have had this for years, and I'm calibration careful enough to do that. You can also very easily, if you're worried about calibration, take closed cell foam and just pad the striking edge a little bit. I've had to do that with some aggressive students. The other, of course, is the medieval buckler. This is heavy. For somebody like Cindy Kemp, for Foxy, I may not recommend this because this is a couple pounds. There is weight to this. Now, the reason it has weight is necessary. That stabilizes. Light shields get flicked around, so you have to have a very positive grip and a lot of technique for how you handle a lighter shield, believe it or not. A heavier shield, by the weight, stays more rooted. This allows for some shadiness in the flicking of opening and closing the door. It obviously properly because this makes a cone of defense a very good, surprisingly effective defensive cone of protection, right? I love this, but it's a little heavy. What I like is it used to be nearly under 50, certainly under 100. You can get all three of those items if you shop carefully, and you'll be able to do a lot. You can get your grip practices, your cutting practices, all your offhand shenaniganry, and that's nearly enough for your close range kit. It would be great for a close range kit. I'd go Dusick or a little more aggressive, but I haven't found the right one. That's primary. Now, I missed some comments because I was addressing that. How is that even working? Give me a second. I was cleaning actually, so of course nothing's working right. Maybe I can adjust the timer on that. Commentary. Yes. Sydney Cap. She makes a great point with foils. Be very, very careful. If you are fencing with foils, use limited quillions and definitely nothing tangly. So while I love this, and this is my favorite costume sword, basically, hanging sword. No, don't mess that book up. Oh, that my elven thin blade here, I would never want to use against a foil properly. This is a display item and something I love because it would be so easy to catch or snap a foil in these brass guards. It is an elegant weapon from a more civilized era. I do love it, and it's about as LARPy as I get in quiet. Plus, the balance is superb. But I would never actually fight with this for those reasons. Okay, now Dark Moon Miracle has ordered a customized version of the Italian tactical trainers, side sword trainers I helped design for Purple Heart Armory. And he says, got my swords terribly balanced, should have done a shorter blade, but it's okay. I'm going to do something. I'm going to get something for pommels. We'll have to video for you about 6 inches above where the finger rings end. So I'm assuming that's the balance. Need heavy. Okay, first off, don't do anything permanent. Get yourself a digital scale and a quantity of fender washers. Fender washers are wide washers with little holes, okay? Start with one and some masking tape and stack them on either side of where the pommel should be on your sword. I don't have it in here, but there was a model because I'm having a similar problem with my feelings on this lovely guy. I love the sword, don't get me wrong. This is one of the better must-buy swords, but the point of balance is PHA tends towards, look at that, about 6 inches out. Very cutting style points of balance. So, as you said, to pull it back, and it's funny you mentioned it because I was going to talk about this in my notes. I'm probably going to get some fender washers. The first thing I will do is tape them. So you put one on either side. You always want balance, centered best as possible. Use masking tape, whatever it takes, because you're not going to be fighting with this. You just mechanically check the center balance. So we're going to be absolutely ludicrous here. And look for simple objects I can put on the end of this to affect the point of balance. So you see, I automatically had, no, that's not good enough. So it's going to take some weight, and that's okay. Weight is not a problem, but balance it out, then figure out when it's perfect, realize you're going to weigh it. So you know. Then you could drill a hole through the meatiest part, use as small a bolt as you can. I would recommend something called the Chicago screw, which God, they have a proper name. What is a proper name? Oh God. Anyway, one side looks like a normal rounded screw. The other is a long cylinder to another screw head that it threads into. I cannot, for the self-tapping screw, no. I can't remember for the life of me the proper word for a Chicago screw. But I'd use that to hold things together. Again, test it, because with something like that, you have a measure of marketability. Make sure it can go narrower than where you want to be. That way you have a little wiggle room. When you have everything set up, hit the threads with some Loctite, screw it together, and you're done. And you basically don't have to forget too much about it. Ogre, all my tubes and wires she cleaned up things up and I can't find anything. She blinded me with silence. Caught myself from singing that because I don't want to lose my, get dinged again. But yes, barrel nut binding post and screw. Yes, thank you, Cindy. Cindy's a genius, and she's got the fastest Google foo I know anyway. But no, I need to anywhere else in the house, I can complain about the mess or things being wrong. Yeah, basically, Ogre. But in here, this is me. You know, me and Lunette the Clown going, who made this big mess? I did. I'm not about to clock stretch for anybody, but I am responsible for my own mess. And believe it or not, with that, we are through the first hour of our broadcast. So, first off, reminding you guys that the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by the Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe. I am working on more books as I deal with some things. Those are available on Amazon, and they're the best way to learn the simple, easy approach to the subtle art of killing your friends for fun and profit. Hybrids, the Sons of God, the RPG. This is just a wonderful game. I made a fast, streamlined book. Yes, there is more in the works, but given Luke's health, I have suspended not just that, but all of my external game design stuff because we were in the middle of finalizing a partnership. We have a existing contract, and I don't want to work and do projects that would earn income behind his back while he's unable to be part of it. I would consider that bad form. I hope you guys understand that. But we're also mostly brought to you by my amazing Patreon viewers. Folks, the Patreon folks who I listed earlier are why I can afford to order gear to keep things going. I will be setting up a few new higher levels because people have asked for an opportunity to be more generous. So I am tinkering with that. I've just had some personal life situations that have kept me rather busy. Some of it good, some of it bad. But that's the reality. And I won't be that kind of person who hides. Yes. Game Shady. I am not sponsored by Game Shady Stories. Game Shady Stories, it would be referencing the game that interrupts every YouTube channel you've ever had, with lots of things for you to pay to win and possibly not win anyway. Game Shady Stories, yes, it's legalized illegal gambling. But I have to do some stuff with Game Shady Stories one of these days. Whew. Hey, I understand. Now, getting back onto things. Itchy. I want to do a video talking spear work. There's been requests for that. I want to do the long-awaited buckler video. My wife's hands are starting to work better. She has had to do some arm physical therapy. So I basically need somebody who I can trust to poke at me with a trainer while I talk. And having been the educated dummy, go look up Sword Sage's video on guiding the blade sometime. I would say that is one of the more amusing and also one of the deadliest, dumbest things I've ever done. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat because I'm a sucker for a friend. But many, many moons ago, I was privileged to help him with a video. And yes, my bottle is leaking. That's not good. I have to clean up a mess. But I will do that in about an hour or so. So we'll be good with that. Now, folks, we're losing some people, and I know my momentum came down. What else is coming? Oh, God. I had some other things ordered. Okay. The Sword Cane trainer. That's not the sword cane trainer. Where's my sword cane trainer? I will find the sword cane trainer, and I will be happy to do a sword cane video. See, guys, a lot of times, one thing with being being a Patreon member, I've talked with them, and they don't like exclusives. I have a generous, strange lot. They prefer to have leverage to do, yep, cleaned up. Do things live on the channel for everyone, because that's the mentality of people I attract. So I will set a vid up for that when I do some shoots. I need to do spear and intro because there's been some talk on that, and buckler. This is a long weekend, and the heat is breaking somewhat in my neck of the woods. If it stays low, I might be able to do some more good things. And it's just, I can't go out and do drilling videos when it's 115. It just doesn't work. Oh, really? To the viewer, to answer that question, no, I am not bald. I am bald. I have a little bald spot forming, but I am not actually bald. I don't wear this because I'm bald. I don't have cancer, guys. To the best of my knowledge, God bless and keep me. But I just get sweaty, and then it runs into my eyes when I do these videos. I did not realize that. So no, I am not bald. And I do love the comments, and to the people who prefer to contact me directly, who know me, I understand that, and that's fine too. Yeah, it was also before I got my ears lowered, I had my usual curly mess that happens during winter, and it just basically my wife was a dog groomer in her youth, so I see a barber because she knows how to work this well enough, and with her having hand problems. Absolutely. Ooh, I will write that down. That is great. Whoa. Whoa. Uh-oh. And I didn't lose it. Okay, it basically locked my screen for a moment. And just for a second, when I reached for this, my phone was vaulted off its holder, bounced off a cutlass, and then flipped and hit the apparently it is a screen lock button that I did not realize was on my keyboard. And it blocked everything up just for a second. I have hotkeys I did not know were there because I don't use them. Oh god, that's funny. But yes, Destreza plus Bagua. I would yes, that should be eminently doable. Now, I am notorious, guys. Thank you for putting up with the shenanigans. Whoop. Awesome! I blocked something. Go over there. It actually sprung back and tried to hit me. We're groovy. I was worried it messed up my stream. It just messed up my ability to see what was going on. I could deal with that, folks. One way or another. No. But Destreza, to those who don't know, Destreza is the one of the proper names for the Spanish style of swordplay, something I've studied a little bit of and I'm eminently fond of. Hence my love affair with both cup hilt rapiers and specifically the Bilbao. And yes, I'm saying it that way. I'm extending it basically because, duh, but this. It's not a video if I don't show. Oh, sorry. This is my Molly tactical dice bag. It was a birthday present, and it came out. But yes, both think in circles. I think the footwork, especially. God. Look up if it's still there. The Destreza Project has some wonderful lectures on the Spanish magic circle, and if I can find it, Maestro Ramirez has in his DVDs, which, well, I'm cleaning out a lot of things if they show back up, a detailed description of how to make a formal Spanish magic circle for you to practice with. To clarify, asterisks, etc., when I refer to a Spanish magic circle, Nick, you're using terminology. Yeah. I don't like that, Nick. Are you getting all mojo-y? No, I am not talking about the supernatural. Which is interesting because, thesis, I drag my feet. I do not lift my feet when moving, in part because of my cadence and in part because I fight on uneven terrain, and I want to feel the object so I can adjust more than I want to risk stepping onto the object or hole. Actually, I tend to shuffle my feet quite a bit. It's just part of how I learn to walk. But we're going to talk, and I have a brand new whiteboard that's over there. So obviously, it's super useful at this moment. But let's talk. Happy little line. What is this? Blank. Oh, I have a blank paper. Cool. Let's bring some blank paper technology into this whole mess here. We're going to get real scientifical over here. Okay. Nick, it's in the book. You could bring up pages. Yes, I know, but it doesn't always show real well. Let's say we have two fencers, right? We'll do it in the style of the barbarian and the classic fencer, because there's always that, right? So from above, it's gonna look something like this. You have two guys that are facing each other, right? We'll even add happy little eyes. There we go. Now, if you draw a line between them, let me get a different color, because I don't think that highlighter will show up. Awesome. We got yellow and we got pink. Cool. We can work with this. From their feet, straight. That is the line of attack. Okay? The line of attack in Spanish, English. Oh, anybody who hasn't liked, please like. Oh, yes. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about that because we're going to get into it. Because Destreza is very mentioned, but it's not. What happens is that this is where conflict happens, right? And in most systems, you want to control the line. You knock the thrusts or attacks that are coming offline. That is the shortest distance. You gain control of the line, and you then skewer your opponent. This is the basis of strip fighting. This is the basis of classical, not classical, but sport fencing. It doesn't matter so much if it's foil or epee or saber. The idea is control the line, kill the other guy. Now, The Spanish looked at that line between their lead feet, and no, this isn't perfect. Don't give me flack. But they realized something. What color is this? Oh, we'll see if red shows up. They realized that that line is the diameter of a circle, and if you want to know where people die the most, it's right on this line. So what they started was by using footwork, instead of placing their foot here, they would put their lead foot here. And that gives you a new tangential line. And this line is shorter. So if your sword is outstretched, where it wouldn't, by stepping forward onto this line here, your sword goes much farther. So it moves you bodily off their line of attack. So a thrust coming in, you have evaded with your footwork, your blade is still on line, and the geometry allows you to skewer the bad guy, often with with nasty effects. If you want what I find the funnest free video you can find on Spanish counters to Italian fencing, because Ogre's talking about that happening. Let me go through. You will not trip over yourself. Let me see. I'm rewinding to make sure opponents do just sword cane, tame the tangle. Uh-oh. I don't want to trip myself. Yep. Okay. Alrighty. Glad to help, Darkmoon. But look up Don Puck's Spanish counters to Italian fencing. Let me see. This is one of those where I'm not going to break down the video because yes, it's copy link address here. Let me see if this lets me do it. There you go. That is one of the fundamental videos that got me into Italian. One of my early instructors was very much interested in Italian. His problem, however, was that he would combine Spanish footwork with Italian blade work. And what happens when you combine Spanish footwork, which is using your body, the Spanish magic circle, to come offline, normally the blade is held in what we would call fourth, extended. Actually, that is not true. It's not held in fourth. It is held in ninth. The guard I rarely talk about. It is a defense via intimidation. My cord is all tangled, so give me just a moment because I need a little bit of room. And we'll see if we can get this detangled enough to give me... Nope. I love my headset, but it's going... Okay, we're going to scooch back here. Now, I am using this because it is the lightest weapon I have. Extended, pointed directly at the face of your opponent. Yeah, I'm going to leave that on there. Now, when you step, it brings you offline, but because this line isn't long enough with a lunge, but if you step, it becomes long enough, okay? Your mass is moving tangentially, hence the term. Now, if you... Yes, basically. Absolutely, Cindy. A stop thrust out of fourth is going right into ninth. It's just for Spanish applications, you start there. You'll notice this hand is guarding. My dagger. I am so practiced in this. I want my dagger right here because when the step comes, this dagger, especially if it's a little high, gets that extra parry. And remember, there's a sword coming out here, but I'm running out of room. And it just opens the door to come around. That's fine, Thesis. That's YouTube is being a little funny with who can. It's barely letting me post links. But that being said, if you combine a proper Spanish thrust with that proper Italian thrust, not even the lunge, but a proper Italian push thrust, now instead of a thrust like this, you've got all the force of a lunge that's diagonal, and that body weight is harder to calibrate. It means that it's very easy for those shots to come in at an angle at somebody's face very, very hard. So you have to be careful when you start mixing styles. But I think you will find, from what I know of Bagua, which is not a lot, I know some. Yes, when you combine, see, your mutant form is very close to how I evolved too. We separately evolved very similar. Yeah, Kung Fu Tai Chi magazine was something I was subscribed to for years. My Wing Chun long pole technique comes straight out of there. It's everything I like in a style. It's simple, it's effective, it's abbreviated, and it's laid out in a manner I can discuss it easily. Are there better, fancier ways? Sure. Can you learn this right now and get good in a position to learn more techniques that build on it later? Yes. Wing Chun long pole is my favorite way to approach pike fighting. And I do love me some pikes. Long spear / pike, such Wing Chun long pole, fights very different than short spear. They are overlapping, they're connected sound. It's actually part of why I wanted to do some videos and discussion on the spear while I can go outside and do it and show off the pretty ones that John Miner did while giving a review on them for use and pros and cons. Because spear transfers to fencing interestingly. Not perfectly, but interestingly. And I think that's very valid. So, I know I probably lost a few people handing you a link to someone else, but my job, as much as I love building what I do and building the guild up, it's to inform you. And this is why I haven't written a female-only manual yet. A female-focused manual, because I believe Toby Beck's work is good enough right now. And yet sometimes you have to deep dive the internet. The internet has the right websites beyond the basic social media stuff are a treasure trove, because people have been doing the same discussions that we have now on styles and stuff without a condensed means to get at them. Therefore, now see, I find that fascinating because I actually used to specialize in dual rapier. Dual rapier is one of my favorite personal ways to fence. Now, often it's a bit shorter rapiers, you're 30, 34, but dual rapier is an absolute blast. Yes, it is dangerous. It's fun. Now, proportionately, dual dagger, remembering that a dagger is much more like a poniard, and I do love me some poniard. Nothing wrong with a little poniard on poniard action, folks. To paraphrase something I said in another video, poniards aren't a deal breaker. But This is still not to be described. This is a short sword for me. I have no doubt. I would never consider this a knife. Half length, you're in knife territory. This is a short sword for me, and I was gleefully frequent in fighting two of those. But yeah, two 36s, 36 and 38, dual 40s, 45s. And when I'm using those numbers, I'm talking inches of blade length. They go for miles. Now, John Miner, who I actually wish was here because he used to fight. Yes. And the trick with it is flipping between tasks. Very rarely are you going to double attack. Usually one's parrying, one's attacking. One's covering, one's attacking. You just don't usually use the same tool, same job, same sword for the same tool. You can flip it up as needed. Fluidity of mind is as necessary as flexibility of body. So you keep it loose and you go. You just have to be in control of your movements. Double dagger. See, if you've done double dagger, if you could keep your tip control and not tangle yourself. Ambisynestris. Okay. I know that word, but I'm not finding it right now. And yeah, somebody on YouTube admitting they don't know. Oops. And oh, I'm sorry, we didn't get Frank. My friend Frank, who's been rather ill too for other reasons, was trying to get on. So I will send him the link because I am that nice. And Frank's good people. Let me see. Bop, bop. And we'll just boop, boop. Yes, I get it. See there. Equally combo. That's, you know what, Ogre? That's fine. If you are equal, and I lost the words as soon. Basically, forgetting the terms for a minute because I'm terrible with terminology. It's why I use plain English in everything I write. There is a measure for how consistent and how accurate you are. Okay, because when you're learning to shoot something, and I know there are two terms and it just fell out the back of my head, you have groupings where it hits on the target. And some people hit very close to the center, but they'll hit the center, but they're wide all over the place. And what you want to do is, when you're learning to shoot, it's more important that you get consistency in how you miss, right? Before, getting the accuracy. Precision versus accuracy. Thank you. You want to become precise. You want to hit the same area. Then, once you can do that all the time, you can adjust it to hit where you want. The terms fell out of my head. Thank you so much, Cindy. It's the same thing. Yep, precision. You're hitting. You're hit. If I'm shooting pop, 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 and it's all down and left of the target, that tells me a few things. I'm hitting the same place, so I'm doing the same thing. Sameness and repetition is necessary. Right. So what you want to learn first is precision. Then once you can do the same thing every time, you can adjust for accuracy. Plus, how you are missing. If you consistently miss the same way with firearm, in the same area, there may be an underlying thing. Your trigger pull is off, your grip is off, something like that. Hey, and from there you go. It's the same concept. But if you are equally clumsy, then build up equally. I was blessed to have started to sword fight in the SCA with a broken right wrist. So I started SCA fencing forcibly left-handed. I couldn't, and then I had to build my right arm up to match. I couldn't come out of that mess not ambidextrous, and it greatly affected my fighting since. So it's really interesting to understand. I would be a very different fighter if I had had that off-road skateboarding accident. Do things, guys, in life. Whoa, there goes my cup. Maybe I shouldn't be refilling my beverage, but I'm super thirsty today. Oh, I know why. Never mind. Yay, clumsy and thirsty. This means my meds have had an effect. That's okay. Not bad. I am not low blood sugar. I don't need to cut it early. I will have a snack when I'm done. But I'm doing okay. I'm just measuring how okay I'm doing. Now, there we go. Anybody can learn to get better doing it. And if you're clumsy, that's fine. Train slow. Okay? Train slow, train often. Understand what you're doing. If you are drilling and you're trying to learn a moveset, video record it on your phone. Yes, I encourage guildies. That's all you wonderful people. If you have the courage to share it, share it. I'm sorry, Silver. That's funny. But share what you do. Share what you know. Share your process. One big thing I like to do is, you'll notice, I don't hide my mistakes. I don't go, I was awesome. No. I want you guys to be comfortable seeing the journey. Okay? A lot of people come on expressing, and Silver and Fox here being hilarious, but I'm going to keep semi-serious here just for a second, because I think people need to see that. There are way too many people who get on front of a screen. Hi, I have a perfect life. You can never emulate it. Everything is perfect, and you should feel bad because you're not perfect, and they're not perfect either. That was a great comment, Ogre. But that being said, excuse me, I am so sorry. Like I had some medical problems. Nothing big, just side effects now. We need to show that. Don't be afraid to show yourself, warts and all, because that's who you are. And to paraphrase Tyrion Lannister, take what they would use against you and wear it like armor, and then no one can hurt you with it again. And I know I'm butchering that, but you get the idea. A little bit of humility. Guys, have some sympathy. Have some taste. I will tell you this. I have very profound and passionate discussions on the subject of clumsy. There are two types of reason someone is clumsy. Okay? Ooh, that's rough. There is a mechanical problem, nervous issues, inner ear issues. Like me, one leg is shorter than the other, so you literally are off balance. Things like that. You learn it, you work around it. Congratulations. Or you're not paying attention. You're going too fast, and you're not paying attention. Almost everything I've ever dropped until recent years has been from not paying attention. I have a shockingly creative mind, which means I am forever torn between two planes of cognition, if not existence. The prime material plane, where everyone is, and then the realms that are in my head. And if I'm paying attention to what's up here, I'm not paying attention to what's there. Now, if I have something like this in my hand, that gives me a third realm to be paying attention. Then you add someone else. We divide ourselves. And maybe I'm going to sound Walden-esque. Uh, you know, get all kinds of throw up in here, but simplify. Um, when we try to make things easy, they become complex. When we understand that some things are going to be hard and you just do them, and you do one thing at a time, it may feel harder, but it's simpler. And a lot of times you can process that. Humanity is we are way too multitasking right now. And that's the thing. There, oh God. Thesis just said, my mother is one leg shorter and 1 foot smaller. I wish I could convince her to try Tai Chi, but she's convinced she's too clumsy and broken. I hear stories like that. And part of it, guys, we're going to get real. This is from somebody who came in second in a whole lot of tourneys. Never managed to come in first. Now, sometimes maybe I should have, but your opponent isn't other people's scale. And that's the problem. I'm clumsy. I'm broken. I have this problem. I've been there. And I'm not saying that. It's just the vast majority of us, myself included, live in prisons of our own building. We doubt our abilities. We doubt that we have the capacity to improve. It is one of the greatest tragedies of the human condition. And so many of us, guys, uh, don't see our own value. Part of it's imposter syndrome. Part of it's just old fashioned depression, self esteem issues, uh, trauma. So, and this isn't me saying you guys, but not me. This is me. This is me for days. I don't see my value. Most of you don't. I don't see my potential. But I believe if we try, and I mean we can be better than we are. Maybe not, I'm not Ash Ketchum. I'm never gonna be the very best, you know. But if I can do a little better today than I did yesterday or a year ago or whatever, that's real. That's a real progress. And if I fail, at least I tried. We have to, and that's everybody watching this, and especially myself. I've been thinking about it. This is one of those shower thoughts kind of things. You got to think counterclockwise if you want to unscrew yourself. Uh, Fate, situations, our own bad choices screw us. It twists us into a role, into a position. It drives who we are into this tight definition. And the only way, what people want is to not be there. They want to just get magicked out of it. We all want that. I know, poof, I don't want that problem. Like, but it won't change anything. Even if we got poofed, we have to backtrack. We have to work and think differently about ourselves, about each other, about the problem. Okay? Because our problem most of the time is not the problem. It's how it's how we see the problem. Oh, the best part of waking up is a sword in your hand. Somebody seen me in the morning. Coffee drink in one hand. Like, y'all don't know, but I'll tell you. This is an entity. Morning Nick. I have the coffee drink that Awake Nick made me the night before and put in the fridge so that the Cro-Magnon Morning Nick can slough up. Sandra's not awake. It's almost time for Brian K. Morris's show. The right eye, it's not working yet. I have the coffee. Or I have, like, what I'm drinking right now, which is the black cherry. I'm hopefully wearing my glasses. Hold on. Yep, there it is. Bifocal vision suddenly. Not that I have bifocals, but that I can see the right eye. Hanging target. Doot. Doot. Oh, it's moving. Boop. Miss. Mark. Boom. 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 Coffee Tombury. Right? Alarm goes off. Time to turn on Never Mind the Furthermore with Brian K. Morris over on his YouTube channel. And chat. Get to chat with people. Yay. Get my stuff. At some point, Sanders awake, and my day goes on. I am not some ninja. Oh, yeah, no, I get that, too. Oh, geez, yeah, I half expect Link to come in and try to break every pot in the house, you know what I mean? Because I just understand the... Morning Nick has big NPC energy. I understand that entirely. Like, I get that, and that's okay. But every time I work with that a little bit, I'm better than if I hadn't. And that's the real point. Everything you try to do is better. And sometimes things you think, for example, I'm going to get real lifey. There is a dresser in my bedroom right now. And that dresser was a 2-stage assembly in that I started it and my wife finished it because there were way more screws than my hands were up to. And I was running low on time. It sat there in the box, propped up for like 2 years. Well, maybe not 2 years, maybe only 1 year. Yeah. Because it was going to be a pain in the butt to assemble. I realized I don't know if I'm up to it. Bad hands. We got it together in one day. Enthusiasm is just 3 cups of coffee a day. One pot. What a cup, 3, one pot of coffee in the world is a beautiful place. Oh, that's nothing wrong with that. That's like genetic memory thesis. Hands will go to weapons that aren't there. I don't like being startled. My hands do strange things. I never prank a swordsman. Just don't. That's one thing, guys. And this goes to everyone on the list. This goes to every guildie who walks through my door. Don't prank each other. Most of the people in my circle I have either combat PTSD or the civilian kind of PTSD. Vast number of them are armed, sometimes heavily. Don't jump startle us because we're liable to stab as much as scream. That's just good policy. And it is really, as somebody who is excessively observant sometimes, I go into what I call Sherlock mode. Something loud will happen. A plate will drop, something like that. Watching what happens to the crowd of people around me. No, an accidental startle is totally different than I'm going to be a dork and jump scare people. Oh, now that's pranks are next level. Don't prank me. Don't prank each other. Leave pranks out of this. I am paranoid. I am creative. And I spent several years in college playing a game called Killer. I was at the time undefeated after several years. Untouchable and undefeated. I do not, because like, if I fall into that, it's going to go away from. That can, you know what? I am in no personal position I've had to fight those demons, Foxy. Foxy says I startled a former boss of mine once. Next time I'm on the floor with a knife to my throat. Yeah. Absolutely. Don't. Please. Because it will set me off on nightmares. And if I have to go worse nightmares than I do, there will be an answer. And yeah, there is an irrational fear of swords. And it's funny because I've seen hardened gun guys freak out about swords. I think because very few people in the modern world are shot compared to those who've at least cut themselves on knives. And you know that happens. It's a rough thing to be of well, you know, to have that part of you, because it really is, it's containing a demon. The part of you that wants to react to violence with an extreme, sudden, overpowering escalation of force. And yeah, I grew up with a PTSD vet. I always make noise when I walk at his house, at their house, at my old home. I don't know how to refer to it as an adult who lives somewhere else. It feels weird to say home. But the having the capacity for that is hard. My son has special needs. My son has behavioral special needs. I have to occasionally control him. That is one thing. There are environments where we get in where other people may have to temporarily control him. You know, he's getting a shot and he freaks out. There are medical responses to that. Uh, on one level, as a former professional in that field, I understand everything that needs to go. On another primal and dangerous level, I have to resist the urge to do harm unto everyone who lays hands on my son because I realize they are doing that out of necessity. It is an interesting paradigm. And it is a very natural paradigm, but also a very painful one. Because believe it or not, I am at heart an aspiring pacifist. I am a failed pacifist. I have never wanted to harm people in defense or offense, and I had to learn to, and I had to study and understand the application of violence. And I actually teach it. And yet, I pray constantly for my students and for the people I know that it never becomes necessary. I would love to wake up in a day and know that there will never be the necessity for physical violence to be visited upon another human being or another entity, even. I mean, like, if I could just like photosynthesize and just be like, I don't have to hurt anything, I don't need to, it would be awesome. I don't revel in it, and I never will. It's not for me something to revel in. There's a temptation towards that. There is a temptation to try to be the dominant, powerful entity, especially for those of us who have been abused violently by people. Not my family. My family's great. Uh, Other issues, but not that. But to have known weakness, you know. I talk about it in the terms of my personal Waterloo. If you have not hit a battle in life that you completely lost, that you were weighed, measured, and found lacking, you have a fragility I do not respect. Thank you, Ogre. Ogre says this is where the definition of meat comes into play. Those with swords who know how to draw them, but choose not to draw them. Yeah. And that's why I like swords better than guns. I understand the tactical application of a firearm. And to me, a firearm is a very specific tool. The act of marksmanship is fun. I enjoy the puzzle, the challenge of being able to develop the skill to put a hole in a piece of paper from given distances. I always have. But you can't realistically shoot to wound. That's a cute illusion, but you don't have much option. And with a melee weapon, you do. You can give a graduated limited response. I don't have the body mass to do a lot of graduated limited response as unarmed. I would love to. I simply don't. I'm too small and too weakened. But and it's ironic why though a swordsman I prefer stick or short cane defensively, because I don't want to hurt anyone, but that's not the hierarchy. Before killing someone, I would far rather inflict injury. Before inflicting injury, I would rather inflict pain. Before inflicting pain, I would rather inflict education. And, that's why I get accused of being very paladin-like. And anybody who saw the recent thing, I'm very, very lawful, very, very lawful good. That's how I operate. I prefer to give a warning. Exactly, highly controlled force multiplier. And part of that is I have been hurt. I bear the scars of grievous injury, both internal and external. Some are very visible, some are barely visible over the years. Many have faded, but it's still there. I have been hurt, and I have inflicted damage on others for my own defense, both physical and mental and social. I have done what has been necessary to do, but it's never right. Because we should be better than that. However, if I can teach somebody how to use a stick, use a sword, and they gain the confidence, many times when it would be the point where they need this tool, they have the confidence and the education to see the problem and do something else about it. They can see a way out. They can see it before it starts. Walk away. This is why I teach applied cowardice so much, guys. But to be able to do that with confidence, you have to understand what you can and can't do and develop as much what you can. The old walk softly but carry a big stick is a mentality I like. I don't want to swing the stick, but I'm very comfortable carrying it as needed. This is why I prefer tools over weapons. A tool gives me many options. A weapon gives me limited options. I know that's a little philosophical. It's a little emotional, and a lot lower beat than when we came on tonight. But I also think it's very it's important that we have these conversations, that the philosophy of defense is as versed, if not more, than the practicality and the methodology of defense. We need to embrace that, guys. Because if you don't know why you're doing something, you shouldn't do it. Oh, okay. Ogre's pulling us off topic to something interesting. Similarity difference between machete and dao. They are both cutting weapons. A dao tends to be a bit heavier in blade, But you're going to find that a good dowel will handle a lot like a machete, will handle a lot like a falchion. They are of a family of weighted, well, I mean, let me see, do I have it handy? I have it. It is, no, that's not it. Well, then what was that? Oh, okay, that's not it. Apparently, my Dow is on walkabout or just out of. Oh no, there it is. Ha ha. Alrighty, let's talk. Dow. Kind of scimitar, kind of Dow. It's close enough that we can use it for the discussion. Now, if we took and rounded this off stylistically, and probably made the tip a little less aggressive, very Dow, very machete. You're going to have a point of balance that's way out here. The weight is here and the material is thicker. This is going to keep it from L bending on a hard impact and give a more efficient transfer of force. So it's going to come here. Now, the thicker the spine on a dowel or a machete or any cutter, the heavier the hit will be, the slower the retraction. Because this just starts behaving a lot like an axe with a flat, sharp handle for this purpose. And see, the wedge that's where it gets interesting. But the narrower it is, the flatter, the easier it is to cut into material because you don't have to use as much. Less of the force has to push out. It can push in. That's why it's much easier to take a sharp knife and cut something than a dull knife. So you have that. Stylistically, a machete can handle a lot like a dowel. A lot. And that's why one of the big passions I have as a instructor, as a martial artist, as an ambassador. I consider myself an ambassador between styles. My job, a facilitator, isn't just to, if I wanted to educate you, come on, I'd talk about the simple sword, say this is the best way to do everything, and go down the road. But that's not what I'm about. I want South American machete guys. A lot of South American schools have very machete approaches. A lot of Malaysian people. Get them talking with the Dao guys because you're going to find that the styles overlap. And then you start to get, well, that works for you. Does this work for me? And the very question that Ogre's asking is there is some difference. Like I said, Dao often were thicker, but not a lot. The real thing is a Dao and it's the shape of the guard. The function of the weapon is not much different. The styles can be different. But when you get to what they do, I talk about it all the time. The elbow only bends the same angle, roughly, for a Russian Cossack with a shamshir, with a Pittsburgh steelworker with a sledgehammer. The blacksmith of Brandywine's elbow worked the same as every British officer. The body mechanics are roughly the same. So when you take a weapon that's balanced roughly the same, they all do the same things. That means you can talk about it. And yeah, the machete, ironically, is the most refined, internationally accepted, and incorporated form of a sword in history. It's one of the oldest sword types. It is one of the most effective for a versatile set of tools. I would put it after the axe, but not by much, because you have the knife. An axe is a heavy knife. Even before it got a handle, it was just a heavy knife. And a machete is a long knife. A sword is a different balanced long knife. understanding this, and that's where that afternoon, what Blade Thesis is talking about, when you get cross styles together, is literally everything the guild is about. It's everything I want to see. When we pop that public Facebook group that I talk about is there literally so martial artists can comment and discuss what they see. Okay? And I want that. I want the idea of a Destreza Bagua conversation delights me. Seeing machete systems, because there are systems based around machete. To a Dow guy, hey, does this work for you? This is how new martial arts are born. The best martial arts are born when two martial artists of parallel styles or opposing get together and talk things out. And that is exactly, literally why I founded the Historical Fencing Guild. So that Amp Guardians and Scadians and Arma guys and Hema guys and Dow guys and Tai Chi guys, so you can all, and I use guys bilaterally, women, men, everything in between, all the dudes who like things that are sharp and weapons and stuff, get together and you talk and you converse. That is what we're about, folks. That is the beauty and intention and what makes my channel, my organization, and my books different from literally everyone else I've seen. Because it's not about me. It's about getting you guys to talk. It's about becoming like a United Nations of martial arts. When we get practices going, it is notorious to have off to the side, different open-handed guys playing patty cake, as I call it. So with that note, it is over 2 hours. I will look into that. I'll have to look into Francisca. It might work. But it is over 2 hours. My family will be needing me for some stuff, and I have to take some medication. So I want to thank, I hate cutting a lovely conversation short. I want to thank Ogre. I want to thank Thesis. I want to thank Cindy. I want to thank, happy birthday, Foxy. I want to thank Dark Moon Miracle. Our prayers are with Steve Clausen. He's fighting COVID. Our prayers are with Luke Stone. He's fighting COVID and not doing so well. And everyone else, heck, you know what? Our prayers are even with Johnny Cage, wherever you are, Johnny, because got a feeling you might need it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't be afraid to take this commentary both further in the chat and just bring it to the Historical Fencing Guild public group. Start a line and we'll get going. I love discussing this. I just have to keep my other obligations. So thank you. The Historical Fencing Guild is a proud member of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. I held up my lovely sign, and it has since blown away thanks to my window, my thing. We'll see if I can find it again. But it is also brought to you by The Simple Sword and The Fighting Axe. Both these guys are available on Amazon at reasonable prices because martial arts are for everyone. If you want to learn the basics of making swords and axes, consider looking this up. It's brought to you by Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the RPG. We are given corporate support from Steve Clausen and John Miner of Swakhammer Metals. And otherwise, guys, have a wonderful, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. I have some more stuff I'll be talking about real soon. And hopefully I'll be able to shoot some non-live videos to throw them up for added content. If you like what I'm doing, please not only hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, I need it to slay the algorithm dragon. I also consider becoming a Patreon member. $1 a month helps. That's how I afford the trainers and the gear to review so other people don't. You guys have a great weekend. Other than that, be good to each other. Keep your guard up. Do your drilling. And as always, support your local swordmaster.